When the game gets tough, the tough ones start to play at Armor Attack.
Hi everyone and welcome back to Armor Attack Italy. Today's video is going to be about stuff happening on the test server. There's going to be we're going to talk about the new aiming system, which had a few little tune-up, but it's about the same of before. And then instead, something that you may be very interested into, we're going to talk about a new character for Bastion, and this is the baby, so is quite of a brawling beast. It mounts 2 light weapons and a heavy. So afterwards we are going to see all the new light weapons that we are going to have for Bastion, and there are 3 of them, okay? And it has this rotating blade, okay? It's similar, if you want, to the Atlas to that degree, okay? It's going to dash and hit with the blade, so very similar to the Atlas in this aspect. One thing to notice is that this guy is fast, and I'm going to show it to you on the maxed one. As for the weapons, even if the camera position is not one of the best, we having a small deadbolt for the 600 meters. We are going to have the light version of the ram for the short distance, the 100 meters, and the light version of the suppressor for the 350 meters. That, of course, doesn't mean that you cannot mix different weapons, okay? Because, for example, on the heavy one in Bastion, we don't have just 3, we have 5 different weapons, okay? Because we have the flank cannon and the lance that go for the 200 meters. So depending on how much you like to brawl, you could either match them with the light version of the ram, or compared to the 100 meters of the ram, instead of matching them with the light version of the ram, and that is, as I said, if you like to brawl, you could match them with the light suppressor, either the flank or the lance, okay? And then of course you will have the 300 meters on those 2 weapons, and so you know that at 200 meters you have the full firepower working, okay? Okay, now let's see a few specs about this guy, the Dasher, if that name is going to remain, because we've been testing this baby since 2 days, so you know a lot can change. Not the weapon slots, okay? They will remain the two light. One thing, this is maxed out, okay? This is level 25. As you see, the HP is nothing incredible, but the speed, I mean, this guy, even in combat mode, it moves around easily, and in non-combat mode I would think this is the fastest of so far in the game, okay? Now let's see instead what we can expect this guy to become, because as you see, the speed is already good at the very beginning, but the resistance is not really incredible. So let's see what happens when we upgrade it. One thing, when you upgrade, my suggestion would be to go on circles more than doing one line a time. Okay, so you do the upgrade in this way, okay, in circles. Normally this one will give you a more balanced upgrading of all the different specs of the character or the weapon. Okay, normally like this, even if, let's say, okay, let's do it 8, 9 and 10. Now we are a level 10, right? We're less than the half of the way, but as you see, durability, it's already more than the double. The regeneration is getting good. The speed is still that one. It hasn't changed. But, you see, but you already have, sorry, that was the next one. Sorry, this was the next one. We are already up 120. Now let's see what happens when we get around level, let's say 18, and I'm going to tell you why 18. Okay, as you see, okay, now we are at 16. 17. This one already becomes, but this one is not so incredible. All right. So now we are at level 18, which is medium getting strong. Let's put it this way. And as you see. Now here is not gonna, you see, we have still some durability, but we're gonna see later. As you see now, the speed has become really good. All right, and even the reload, you know, is nice. At this point is already nice. Now the next ones, normally what happen is that we first are going to have this one, okay? Because of course we get much more green tokens than any other, all right? Then we start having this one. The 400 is not that easy. And here we are going to have the 50, which they don't come that easily neither. And then we get to the very last part that is actually the problem, because it takes time to collect this 1,250, and in this part we have the 300, okay? And for this is going to take quite some time. But as you see at level 21, the guy is doing nicely. Okay? Then instead, when at the end we are going to have it maxed out, of course everything is going to be much nicer. Okay, and the same goes, of course, for the weapons. I do have these, so I'm going to get the this one, and we are going to set up a long range, a sniper one, and the suppressor, we are going to get the deadbolt. Okay, and then we are going to try the three different setup: RAM, suppressor, and deadbolt. Okay, and so we are going to try the character at matching the light weapons and the heavy weapons. Okay, and we are going to do some gameplay and see how this baby do work on the battlefield. Okay. Let me change this one just in case. Okay. So in the first battle, we are going to try the short range distance. Okay. We're going to have everything maxed out, and we will see what kind of damage we can actually deliver. Okay, we got Beacon Rush, and I hope I'm going to get the proper one. Let's see. No, I took the one with the suppressor. Never mind. Okay, first of all, we are going to see the active ability. One thing, you see down here, you have 2 charges. Okay, that's of course you have to, you need a certain kind of upgrade, but you get the 2 charges. Different, you know, different from the Atlas where you have just 1. Here you have 2. Okay? It works just like the Atlas. Okay? You use the ability dashes, and it does the damage. If you're going sideways and dash, same thing as the Atlas. See, and the blade works just in front. Okay, I'll show you again. Once you dash, the blade works right in front. Don't pay attention to the fact that the character turns the torso, the weapon does work straight in front. Okay? This is how it works. It is good that we have Beacon Rush, because so we will look at, oh, we have a mystery here. See the damage is nice. Then, of course, being of the suppressor family, they have a certain reload time. seconds. But it's okay. Now let's try this guy over here. So shoot it and go to play. Okay, the blade doesn't do actually the same damage of the Atlas right now. But as I said, it's a work in progress, a big time work in progress. So we'll see where it will. It's going to be increased, but it has even the reload of the ability is rather short. So maybe it's going to be not as strong as the Atlas weapon, but you're going to have more the ability more often than the Atlas. This one probably compared to the Atlas, where the sword movement circular, this one works in front. So you have to take some attention and use the character you to get the blade to work exactly where you need it. So basically this is the trick, and now I'm heading down below. Dash and the weapons. Ah man, I'm in trouble. But now I have everything back in from me. This guy. Okay, got this one. Let's see what's going to be next. Let's see where's this one. You see the ability has good load time. And if you don't use it right away, let it recharge properly. Even get the second charge. Or I did something stupid because I did dash on the side. Alright, and now let's go with the ramps and the light version of the ramps. So, this one should one. Alright, yeah, we do have, and we are in TDF, which should work as having the ramps try to do my best. Very close. You know, but it's the same thing with the Atlas. The swords has a reach. So, see, I done the mistake. The big mistake. Because I dashed in the very wrong direction. But as you see, I did 10 kills. So, this little baby does work. Of course, with practice and experience, you can do it even better. It's also true that here I'm playing with a bunch of AIs. I don't know. I'm honest. I have no idea what will happen when it's going to be the time of deadline. Really. Okay, could have done more with the second one, but all right, we got a team deathmatch. So this one is going to be the one with the sniper weapon, and it's just about right. Because that's what we need. And we are going to see if actually it's not going to be easy to have a chance to use the ability if you want to do sniping, but we'll see what kind of damage. So we have that Chacter. Yeah, because one shot of the dead ball is no. So we will still need. Oh. last sector of my durability. So maybe this thing can be done, but you will need to be very aware of the limits of this combo. Really try not to expose yourself too much. This combo needs a lot of practice. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself travel very soon. But so far, we've done what? 3 kills. Come on. Say that 3 kills are something won't be going around yelling hit away. Rather this thing. Okay, yeah, it seems that, that wasn't such an incredible test, but in a shorter time we did 3 kills, as we did with the one with the laser and deadbolt. So, but the battle before we did 10 kills with the ranks. So far it seems that combo could be more effective than others. But as I say all the time, it depends on your playstyle. Okay? Then, of course, there is another thing, another new thing that is going to make happy a lot of Bastion fans, and is about the bonuses. Before, the bonuses were just the same of the Hermit, okay? Same numbers. And as you see, there has been a very nice increase in the durability. That also means that if you set up a preset using different factions, okay, you will always need a nice amount of durability, because if you go 3 and 3 is going to be 15 compared to the old 10, and if you do 4 and 2 you're going to get a 20 instead of a 14. Now, just as an example, let's say that I prepare a preset with 4 Bastion and 2 Hermits, okay? The Bastion will get that 6% extra damage, but the Hermit will get the 20% extra durability. At that point, when it comes to the modules, I can forget about using armor modules, for example. If that is the preset that I'm sure I'm going to use the most of the times, of course. And I just go for damage, because I already have the extra 20 durability over here, all right? And then I get another 18 with 3 impulse module T3. If with the upgrade I already got the extra 5, which is a level 22, 23, depending on how you do your upgrades. Okay, so you will have 11 plus 3 modules tier 3 impulse, another 18, and 11 is 29. So you're going to have a Hermit with almost the 30% extra damage and a 20% extra durability. Okay? But but the same thing goes for if you use Imperials, because maybe for the Bastion to have some extra speed may not be that critical, but for an Imperial to have the 15-20% extra durability means that you don't really need to mount armor modules, and you can either work on the cooldown to have your active ability available, active ability available more often, or even this time you can work on damage, because here you have your extra durability. So for example, just to give a very typical example, if I use only 2 Imperials, so I have the 20% from the Bastion, and I have a Shroud, I can use again 3 modules of Impulse to get a load of extra damage, or to have really the active ability available more often, I can use 3 cooldown. I don't need armors with these amounts of bonus, okay? But that's a further consideration that you will possibly do after you decided what kind of presets you want, okay? But these extra bonuses for the Bastion, I would expect, once all this gets implemented in the live server, that we are going to start to see a lot of mixed hangars with three, quite easily three Bastion in three of another hangar, or four Bastion, or two. Because, for example, if you use the Sentry, okay, that is very strong character. You use a Dasher. It's very fast. It can be a very effective even as a beacon runner. A Jagger, same thing. A Burevestnik for his characteristic as well. And then maybe if you like the hoplite more than the Spitfire or the Cinder, and you have your four. And then you go on Hermit and you say, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna take my Acrid that is very strong, and I don't know, then you either go for a Nautilus, a Broadkeeper, or whatever, or a Creeper, whatever you like the most. Or you go and you may use an Atlas, a Paladin, a Shroud, an Architect, you know. But I would expect a lot of mixed hangars in the future, more than the one that we see nowadays. Okay, so this was the introduction of the new characters of Bastion the Dasher, if that name is going to remain, and the pack of the new light weapons for the Bastions. I hope you enjoyed the video, that it was giving you some nice information, so you know what's coming up. I don't know how soon, but it's coming up. And if you like the video, of course, a like would be nice, but more than anything, subscribe to the channel, okay? And as always, ciao.